of all, we want to thank the person of the Holy Ghost. Amen. Say thank you, Holy Ghost. For the privilege to see this month. Thank the Holy Ghost. It's a glorious month of remembrance. Where those who have forgotten to help you will remember you. Thank you. Thank you. You told me that. He said this month is a month of remembrance. For good, not for evil. Well, maybe you don't want to take it. Thank you, Holy Ghost. We are standing, hallelujah, on holy ground, and I know that
Lord.
There will always be someone better. But in the realms of God, He's the best. There is no one like Him. I don't know about you, but there is no one like Him. A man can come into a woman and mess up her life. Then she can meet someone who is better. But with God, there's no upgrade. You understand? In my ministry with God, in my marital life with God, miracles of grace. There is no one else like you. There is no one else like you. For you are great. Miracles of grace. There is no one else like you. There is no one else like you. For you are great. esteemed Papa Joshua Igila. Say, we love you, Papa. Walk up to 7 persons and say, so nice to see you in church. Genesis chapter 1. Please turn the Bibles to Genesis chapter 1 and Acts chapter 27. Genesis chapter 1. Are you in Genesis chapter 1? Amen. Say fire. Fire. In Genesis chapter 1, from verse 6, then God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Thus God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. Acts chapter 28. Acts chapter 27. Verse 39. Acts 27, verses 39. Acts 27, verses 39. If you are there, say fire. Fire! The Bible says, when it was day, they did not recognize the land. But they observed a bay with a beach, onto which they planned to run the ship if possible. And they let go the anchors and left them in the sea, meanwhile losing the rudder ropes. And they hoisted the mainsail to the wind and made for shore. But striking a place where 2 seas met, they ran the ship aground, and the prow stuck fast and remained immovable. But the stern was being broken up by the violence of the waves. So we want to talk about where 2 seas meet. Wow. That's what we want to talk about. Where 2 seas meet. Say it. Where 2 seas meet. Because we read in Genesis chapter 1, the Lord said, let there be a firmament that will separate waters. So there was a firmament that separated the waters above from the waters beneath. So the waters above and the waters beneath all used to be one. Amen. Please. Amen. Then the Lord said, now let there be a divide. Now when the waters were all together, there was a harmony among them. Yes. There was a harmony among them. And now, God is bringing division. Yes, sir. And this was the first time division was introduced to creation.
Yes, sir.
So, because of that division, the waters that were now in harmony became separated. But the same God who separated the waters above from the waters beneath desires every other thing to be in harmony. Yet wants the water to be in division. But the moment the waters from above separated from the waters beneath, the Bible says a dry ground appeared. He didn't say a fruitful place appeared. So you need to understand that anything that is already running in a harmony, that you bring a divide to, will manifest dryness. And that is why there are some marriages that you can never settle. They are beating each other quite alright, biting each other, beating each other. It is a harmony. They are not separating. The lady can cry today. Tomorrow she's cooking the best meal for the man. And the woman can say he has been a bad man, yet they have 7 children. Have you ever thought about it? How did they have intercourse? Yet the woman will be telling that your father is a bad man, but you have 6 children. So that means that there is a harmony. So what brought the divide? You see, anything that carries a harmony don't divide itself. It always takes a third party to bring a divide to anything that is in harmony. So the question is, who is playing the role as God to bring a divide in your life? You see? And that is the reason why there is a strong rage. Because the waters beneath are still calling for the waters above. And that's the reason for rainfall. Yes. Because it's a way of bringing balance. You see? Because the waters beneath, the waters was divided. And the waters beneath were separated from the waters above by a firmament. The waters beneath decided to reach out to the sun for help. Through what you call evaporation. Yes. So when it hits the waters beneath, it evaporates to form a cloud, to meet up with the waters above, so that it can pull it down and bring it back as rain. You see that? Because anything you bring a divide to will always find a way to meet up. Even God has never been able to successfully put a divide. Because even the laws that govern the earth aspires for one primary thing: harmony. If you look at a nation today like America, where there is subtle racism in different spectrums, different stratas of government, in the midst of that divide, you still have blacks who still marry whites. Yeah. You still have whites who fall in love with black men. You still have black men who marry Spanish. Do you understand? So you begin to wonder then, where is the racism? And where do you put that baby that was born by black and white parents? You see, harmony. Harmony. So we're looking at where 2 seas meet, where 2 waters meet. Where 2 waters meet. It is very dangerous to be in the middle. Yes. Now, what we just read in the book of Acts chapter 27, Paul said, at first when they embarked on the journey, he had told them, let's hold on. Oh, he said, I perceive this journey is going to be with great disaster. The people said, no, they didn't listen to him because he was a prisoner. So, they decided to go with the flow. So, when they did, they were hit by a storm called Euroclydon. And the Bible says for 2 weeks they did not see the sun nor the moon, yet they were on the sea, but did not see the sun. That means it got to a point they were like the bottom of the sea. The sun could not reach them. There is a storm that can hit a man and the person may never see sunshine again. You understand? Yes, because the person who was struck by the storm did not listen to the barakah. Yes, sir. Because the barakah looks like a prisoner. Wow. Paul was a prisoner. Yes, sir. He was the reason for their safety. They did not pay attention. Wow. He had seen what they could not see, even though he was in chains. But they did not pay attention. Baraka means blessed. Barak means the blessed. But it takes the blessing to produce a blessed man. And he told them, sir, I perceive this journey is going to be with great disaster. Let us not travel. The people said, oh, no, come on, what are you talking about? What do you know? You are a prisoner in chains. So finally, they decided to set sail. So they were going. They were struck by this storm called Euroclimate. And the Bible says they lost everything. They lost everything. Think about people who have lost everything in their lives. That means they may never see sunshine again. For some, it's been 25 years now after the last storm that struck them. They still have not recovered. They still have not recovered. They still have not seen the sun, nor the stars. Stars there will speak of destinies, hope, future. They still have not seen any future. The Bible says for 2 weeks they did not see the sun. Sun speaks of even an angelic head, even God, because the faces of angels were described as the brightness of the noonday sun. They did not even receive an angelic head. It was even after the storm. And Paul, who told them not to go, became a victim to their decisions. There is a way you may not agree with someone, but you can't help it. And you can't change it. And God cannot help you. But because you are on board, you are journeying with the person in life, you still have to just be a victim. So there are some circumstances where man has become a victim, a Christian has become a victim, not because of his own volition, but it is because he or she is caught up in the circumstance with a certain group of people who were destined for a fall. Some have married such people. Some are classmates with some people, such people. Some have entered the same car that brought an accident, and now the person sustained a broken leg. And you told the person the way you are driving is bad. It's not good. Slow down, slow down, slow down. The person said, I know, I'm in control. You are sleeping, no. He said, I'm not sleeping. Come on, I'm just sleeping. I was just thinking about something. Then the next thing. Now the person has a broken leg. Where is God? God has always been where he is. But I couldn't help it, Lord. God says, I know. It happened to Paul too. You can imagine Paul did not see the sun nor the stars. Yet, he was not in prison. But he was a victim of the circumstances. Anyway, 2 weeks after, and the people did not eat, they did not even eat food for 2 weeks. They did not see food to eat for 2 weeks. They lost everything. 2 weeks after, he stood up and said, SARS. Because they were all men, 276 people on board. He said, you should have listened to me and not incur this great disaster. You should have listened to me. Oh. You should have listened to me. You should have listened. Do you realize that what you are probably praying about, if you had given room for one more conversation, you probably wouldn't have been praying the prayers you are praying now. Because one more conversation with the person you are trying to walk out from can make a difference. But you chose to walk out without even giving room for any conversation. You realize that one more conversation can make a whole lot of difference.
Yes, sir.
One more conversation.
One more conversation.
Just one. One more conversation. Even the one, but oh, he told me he has made up his mind. But did you give room for one more conversation? God said you should have listened to me. I know I'm a prisoner in chains, but you still would have listened to me. You still would have listened to me. I know you own the sheep, but I can tell where the sheep will go. He said you should have listened to me. I know it's your own life, but I can tell where it will end. It will not last 3 years. You should have listened to me also. And you wouldn't have incurred this great harm. You wouldn't have incurred this great harm. If only you created room for one more conversation. Even when the person was saying, I just want to talk to you, you say, no, I know what you're already going to say. How do you know?
Wow.
How do you know what the person was already going to say? Maybe you were heading for a place where two seas meet. And the person was trying to rescue you with just one more conversation. But you refused to pay attention. Paul said, sirs, you should have listened to me. And they struck the storm. And the thing is that it was a trap, because when they took off, the weather even became better. And the people started looking at Paul and saying, look at you. You said we shouldn't travel. Can't you see now? The sea is good. Everything is fine. All of a sudden, when they were far from the harbor, the storm struck. See? Whatever is targeting you knows exactly where to hit you. Particularly when you are off from the shore. So, what is that thing that you are involved in, or that you do, that you seem to be getting away with because you are still by the shore? And now, you're about to take a trip that will take you out of the shore, but chances are, you still think that you are still by the shore. And that what you always did by the shore, if I do it this time, I'll always get away with it. Only for you to discover you are no longer by the shore. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Did you understand what I was saying?
Yes, sir.
It's like a lady who is just having sex, sleeping with you. And she said, oh, no, no, I won't get pregnant. I won't get pregnant. I've had sex many times, I didn't get pregnant, even without protection. Oh, and the thing became an ambush. Was struck by the storm of the Europe. Now she's pregnant. She's now hoping for better days. Because the storm is true. Now, we didn't say this to belittle anyone or to put fear in anyone, but we're trying to make you reason something. You got away with one investment you made, and you did it again. And it looks like, nah, you did it, and the market rose. And the Lord said, why don't you sell it down? Say, no, let me wait till 2 months. And you lost it. Anyway, Paul said you should have listened. Do you really listen? These ears you have, do you really listen? I'm not saying you don't hear. There's a difference between hearing and listening. You hear, no doubt, but do you listen?
Yes.
To listen will mean to ruminate over what you already heard.
Yes.
At least give yourself 2 minutes to say, what this person is saying, I think it makes sense. At least 2 minutes can save a whole life. It can save you 10 years of pain. 2 minutes here, listen. Isn't it amazing? We give volumes of hours to hearing,
Yes.
but we don't give any time to listen. Because it is with listening that comes understanding.
Yes.
You are not able to understand where the person is coming from.
Yes.
How can a soldier be taking Paul the apostle to see the Caesar, and yet will not know that there was a storm right ahead of him? Paul says, I am the one who requested to go to Rome, but I know this journey is going to be a disaster. Listen, let's hold on. Oh, he heard, but he did not listen. Paul says you should have listened. I'm not saying you didn't hear me, but you should have listened. You should have listened. You should have listened. No, but Bro.Osi, I prayed about it. Paul said, it's not praying about it. Because you think because you prayed about something, it is okay. Paul said, that thing that you prayed about, you probably would not need to have prayed about it if only you listen. One more conversation. Say, one more conversation. So what is that decision you're about to take? But did you give room for one more conversation? One more conversation. I'm going to try out my mind. One more conversation can make a whole lot of difference. Okay. James said, be quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to anger. Okay. Now. Anyway, Paul said, an angel appeared to me. This was 2 weeks after. And said, we will surely get to Rome. And none of the people here will lose their lives. He said, for I believe God that it shall be even as it was told me. Because of the angel of the Lord that appeared to me, whose I am and whom I serve. Okay. Finally, they began to give Paul the attention because they had seen what he had said happen. But now, when they began to listen to Paul, it so happened now that while listening to Paul, paying attention to him, they all saw a bay. They were looking for land. They couldn't find it.
Yes, yes,
Then they saw a bay. And they said, well, that's a bay. Now, well, let's go to that bay. So, they decided to turn the road. Cut up the side boats because some people wanted to escape. So as to make it lighter. But as they were looking at where they were going, they could see where they were going. It's just a few yards away. They didn't know they were going to run into a place where 2 seas meet.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
Worried. What we're trying to say is that you can see your graduation ahead of you. And in all that you are putting, reading, preparing, going to the library to study, you didn't know there was going to be a place where 2 seas meet. So it was on a fateful night as you were going to the library, some guys accosted the lady and raped her because she came to the place where 2 seas meet on her way to the light. Have you ever seen something that you always wanted? You are close to it now. You are still looking at it. Yet something happened to you. But you are still looking at it. And that thing is telling you, for you to finally get me, you will not come the same way you are coming. You will come in a different way.
Yes. Wow.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
We got it.
So you know, you are making me think. That's why. Look at verses 39 again of the book of Acts. When it was day, they did not recognize the land.
Yeah.
They didn't recognize the land. They didn't know they were already by a land.
Yeah.
They were looking forward to a day.
Wow.
It says, they were what? They observed a bay with a beach, but they did not recognize the land. They didn't know which land it was. But they saw a bay by the beach. There were no compass now to tell them which island that was. There was none. Because they have been so used to darkness and without food. If you read the preceding verse, they have been in darkness for 2 weeks. Now no food. You mean in a company of 276 people, which also includes Paul, not one person could tell, we're about to hit something now. Question. Where was Paul, who told them earlier that the voyage was going to be with disaster? Let's hold on. Because he said he perceived. He said he perceived. How come now, at this time, he could not tell there's a land? were about to hit something. He didn't know. Why? Because Paul thought it was over. He already thought it was over. The angel has already told me, I will surely get to Rome. So he said, that's okay. No problem, we'll surely get to Rome. Let the ship run its course. Oh. That's not what the angel told you. You already perceived that the voyage was going to be with disaster. Oh, Paul will say, well, we already experienced it. That was why I didn't pay attention. Oh, that's why you didn't pay attention. And you could not recognize that it was a lie. Paul said, oh man, it was my fault. 200. Have you ever seen some people who are friends? A company of friends, none of them know exactly what to do next. You know, let's ask some of you have friends.
Yes, sir.
Some of them are Christians, some of them are even ministers, pastors. Do you realize, have you ever asked yourself, if something should happen now that we don't anticipate, how are we going to handle it? Who will know the way out here? Who can show us the way out? Okay. Let's suppose I have 7 friends.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
BC, Roland, Richard, Shaquan, McKinsey, Rhoda, and Rachel, or Priscilla. So, this 7. In case something happens, what can Priscilla do for all of us? What can it do? What can she do? What can OC do for the rest of you? Because some of you now, you are friends, you have a league of friends. What meaningful contribution can you bring into that league of friendship? Have you ever thought of it? Because troubled times will come. 276 people on a ship, no opinion that was meaningful for safety. Now, Paul, the people are ready to listen to you. They are no longer saying anything. Now the worst happened. The ship ran into a land and tore into pieces. Then the question is, Paul, why did we even have need of you? Why did we have need of you? You came and said the angel of the Lord told you this. Paul said, I did. Now, if someone said, but Paul, you should have known. Paul will even ask you yourself, what contribution have you made in this trip? Do you realize that there are some people, they are in a league of friends. The only thing they do is to go to the restaurant, eat, go to the beach in summertime, just travel around. But they know if something happens, not one person has the initiative for the safety of the others. But what's the point keeping that kind of friendship? A lady is dating a guy. There was an issue that they were both caught up in. What are you going to do? The lady asked. He says, I don't know. I don't know. So he kept saying, maybe this, maybe that, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. You know what? I give up. I don't know what to do again the first time. 3 years later, something happened again. What are you going to do? I just don't know. I just don't know. The third time, the guy said the same thing. Then what's the point being in that kind of relationship? The guy does not know what to do at all. Oh, maybe we'll go and see the pastor. Maybe we'll go and talk to Bro.Osi. Bro.Osi will not always be there in your life. Wow. Do you realize that?
Yes, sir. Wow.
Bro.Osi has his own life to live too. Not that we are friends. But what if when you call, our phone is not reachable? What would you do? Certainly that relationship will be torn apart. Because there's no point being in a relationship where the guy cannot even solve a problem. Yeah, he's telling the lady he loves her, you can't solve a problem. Honestly, we feel sorry for some ladies sometimes. Even the kind of people they say they are dating. The guy is good, looks fine. But do you realize there are issues you may not be that are coming? And from the looks of things, you are not even listening. Because if there's one thing the lady complains about you, you don't even listen. You don't have time to listen. Oh, I have to work. I have to work so that I can pay the bill. You see why you enter a slum? Because you are not even listening. Now, they have survived Euroclided, but they didn't know that there was a land crisis coming. And as at this time, Paul was not perceiving anything. Because later on, when they did not eat, Paul was not the one giving them food. After 2 weeks, he said, no, eat, let's eat. He brought out food. Prisoner, he was not feeding them. He said, take, eat. And the sheep was wrong. Oh, maybe if he was not giving them food, he probably would have said, why is the one who is supposed to see for you busy for you? Because of your foolishness. The reason for all this crisis was simply because they did not listen. Do you realize that not listening can cost you a whole lot?
Yes.
Not listening. We're not saying you didn't hear. No, not even listening. Did you ruminate over what you heard? What kind of person have you been to? Do you realize you are not listening? Okay, let's take for instance. We say, imagine when you treat your car. Take care of your car. Sometimes we come by, some people say, let's go to somewhere. We enter one of your cars and say, let's go and buy. And even some, you have to start dusting it. But has it ever occurred to you that even though we say, this your car is beautiful, you say, amen, I'll clean Bro.Osi, it's just that I've been very, very busy. But do you realize that you heard us but you are not listening? And then it so happened now, you parked the car in a place where it was towed to the junkyard. And somehow, the car made you have tickets. So that when the police sees even your license, it will take you even over a year to fix it. And the car has to be impounded. And now there's no car. Now you have to fix everything. To go and buy the car, you are not even sure which place they took the car to. Do you realize you are not listening? That's man's greatest challenge. He's not listening. He's hearing, no doubt, but he's not listening. Didn't you read the angel? What the angel kept emphasizing to John for the 7 churches, he that hath ear, let him hear. He that hath ear. Listening. Paul said you should have listened. You should have listened. How can the one who saw danger the first time is not trying to manage your crisis because you don't pay attention to? And while trying to manage your crisis, another one struck again. Because they saw the bait, they saw the fish. Oh, the Bible said, but they could not recognize the land. And the sheep ran into a place where 2 seas meet. Do you know what that looks like? Not rivers, seas, where they collide.
Yes.
And they did not see it. They did it. And the sheep got stuck. And the Bible says it became unmovable. You know, there are some people, their circumstances can never shift for them. Because they are in a place where 2 seas meet financially. So they can never move out of that place. They are stuck. You realize that? There are some people maritally, they are already in a place where 2 seas meet. They are stuck. Nothing. Yet they know a man of God, like Paul. He is with them there. He is with them. Even the man of God now became a victim. Became a victim.
Yes, sir.
But all this should never have happened at all. Even he was listening. One more conversation
One more
can make a
conversation.
difference. Because if you had listened, you probably would have asked the question.
Yes, it's true.
They didn't even ask, oh, why did you say we should not embark on it? They didn't even care to ask. They didn't. Now, it's true you talk a lot. But could it be true that even though you talk a lot, you don't ask the right question? Because you don't want it to look like you talk a lot. But you do talk a lot. But you are not even asking the right question. You say, because I don't want people to see me like someone who talks a lot. But we all know you talk a lot.
Yes.
I don't know that you are getting it. I don't want people to see me like a talkative. But we all know you talk. The thing is this. You talk, you don't listen.
Yes.
You see why? There are some people, they talk quite alright, but they don't know how to sustain a conversation.
Wow.
Do you know? One of the things the Lord has helped us to do is to recognize quality conversation.
Yeah.
There are people, I already know what this person is going to say. See, how come I'm caught in this trap now? I know this person will say nonsense.
Wow.
There's some people. You know, there are people you are excited to talk to. Oh, man. You just, but there are others here. You just have to be deliberately patient.
Yes.
Paul was feeding these people, managing their crisis for not listening to them. The ship was going. Now, why do people enter ship? Do people enter ship for the sake of getting wet, or for moving from one place to another place dry? Is that not the reason?
Yes.
But read something now. See something. Let's read from verses 41 to 43. 1 to go. But striking a place where two seas met, they ran the ship aground, and the prow stuck fast and remained immovable. But the stem was being broken up by the violence of the waves, and the soldiers who planned to what? Kill the prisoner. They were already experiencing shipwreck. Now the soldiers want to kill. All because now they anticipated a riot. They were eating, Paul was still serving food. Playing the role of a deacon, serving tables now. When the soldiers discovered they ran aground and the ship is stopped, they said, let's kill these people, these prisoners. They will start running now. So that means that even Paul, who was even a prisoner, whose counsel brought them safety, they were even going to kill him.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Do you realize that when you're in a place where two seas meet, even the one helping you becomes your enemy?
Wow.
You see, the one whom God sends into your life become the enemy. See, let's not fool ourselves. This friendship we claim we have. These brothers and sisters, we call each other in Christ. Are we brothers and sisters because we have not reached a place where two seas meet yet?
Wow.
Because it is when we get there. But what does it mean to be in a place where two seas meet? Where we have dissenting opinions.
Yes.
Where we tell you, this thing I disagree. We know why some people tell me, Bro.Osi, I like you, I appreciate you a lot. Because I have not argued with you yet. I have not disagreed with you. And it is deliberate. You should know it's deliberate. Because if it is deliberate, it means that I have never seen you as a friend. That's just what it means. That I have never argued with you. And that you have never argued with me. I'm not saying I know everything, you know. Except the Spirit of the Lord reveals something. But that I have not argued with you yet, it means that I don't see you as a friend. That means you are not close to me. But you may say, Bro.Osi is my friend. Let's get to where two seas meet. Then I'll know that you still see me as your prophet. Because the same Paul who perceived for them Finally, they confirmed this is the guy we should have listened to. Now they want to kill he and his company, fellow prisoners, because they got to a place where truth is in. And these were the people they were supposed to take to Rome. What would they say to the court in Rome? They would lie and say the prisoners wanted to escape, so we killed them.
Wow.
Do you realize you will not behave the same way when you are in a place where two seas meet? You see why Elijah said, how long will you keep hurting between two opinions?
Yes, sir.
Be in a place where two seas meet. If Baal is God, serve him. If Jehovah is God, serve him. Why are you living that kind of life, a place where two seas meet? That's why even your mind is scattered in your mind. Do you know why some of you have not taken meaningful decisions? Because two seas are still battling in your mind.
Wow.
Over a matter.
Wow.
And anyone who says something that you don't appreciate, you get angry with. You see why the one whom God sent to be of help to you becomes your first enemy. That's how you know you are in a place where two seas meet, because he said something you don't like. He said something you don't appreciate. That's always been the trouble. So if you say, brother, I appreciate the grace of God, wait till we get to the place where two seas meet. Because there might be a shipwreck. Of course, we are still in the same church. You didn't listen the first time on how you did your business. Now you are coming again with a new business idea. The first business would have worked out, even only you listen. Now you are not bringing, I'm looking at want to do this thing. Have you not noticed that all you bring to come and see the man of God is something you've already decided? Why should we disagree with you? And why do you still think I'm your friend? When even the decision looks like something you have already decided, you perceived it, you saw it, you were anointed for it. Then why do you need me? Paul says, Centurion, the reason why you have a job is because of we prisoners. You should have listened. The incurred loss is quite alright. Do you realize that when you do something that you incur losses about, there is already something coming ahead? If you are not careful. And it is very, very terrible when the man of God that is seen for you is too busy to see what is coming ahead for you. You know there's a danger when a man of God is too busy.
Wow.
Let's read something. Yes, sister. Read verses 13. Follow this carefully. Okay, let's read from verses 30. In fact, let's start from verses 29. Then, fearing we should run aground on the rocks, they drove 4 anchors from the stern and prayed for day to come. Did you see that? They actually prayed. Yeah, what they prayed against, it happened.
Wow.
They were always afraid. With the way this thing is going, we might run aground. That's why even a place where a ship anchors is still deep.
Yeah.
Because running aground is too dangerous.
Yeah.
It will bore away, it will sink everything. And cargo ships like this, the most valuable things are, what separates them from the water is the metal or the plank, depending on what the ship is built with. And gasolines and all those highly inflammable things are there. They are always afraid of running aground. So they prayed, let day come, because this was the night time. Let it be daybreak. So they prayed. They prayed. We told you, it is too dangerous to pray when there is a problem.
Yeah.
When you are faced with a storm, that's not when to pray. That's when to look for a teacher. Because when the disciples were caught up in a storm, they went to Jesus and called him what? Teacher. Jesus knew how to address the storm. They didn't pray. Now, these ones began to pray. Paul was there. He was there with them. They prayed. Let it be, they prayed. They even dropped 4 anchors to be sure that they were not running aground. What a deception. What a deception. Because that's how they started. They started on the premises of the deception. It must surely end with deception. Because when they set sail, the weather became better. It looked like everything was fine until they were far from the harbor. Then the storm caught them. Now they are victims of it. You can't change course. If you started on deception, you will surely end that way. You can't change course. You can't. You can't. You know why you say you didn't know the man is like that, but you knew what you did to get him. No, you can't work out. You started by deception and you think it will work out. Never. Never. The mother told you to do this to get him, and you did it, and you think it will be stable. It's only a matter of time. It can never be stable because it started wrong. It can never end right. So they said, okay, fine. Let's even put in some measures, some safety measures. They lowered their hand. They began to pray. Now they are ready to pray. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Yeah. What they prayed against in the storm still happened. And how did that thing come? It came when they were relaxed. Have you not noticed when the enemy wants to attack you, it is when you are relaxed. When everything looks fine. After all, I prayed about it. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. You think so? Okay, let's do something to you. I can't believe Charlie did this to me, but you knew how you guys started. You knew how you guys started. You knew now. Let's not fool ourselves. We knew. Verse 30. And as the sailors were seeking to escape from the ship, when they had let down the skiff into the sea, under pretense of putting out anchors from the prow. You see that when you start, if you are trapped in a place, in a circumstance, you can be sure. Even those who will be looking for ways of escape will start pretending. They'll start pretending. They'll start pretending. They'll start acting nice. That's also how you know you've been trapped. When you feel like looking for a way of escape. There's protection. You either pretend you are too busy, you consume yourself with more work. As a form of escape, you can go high. I want to be like the Most High. Yeah, gravity still brings you down. You understand? And then you still face the same reality. Didn't you know? Mary got pregnant. Joseph. Said, they have trapped me. What did he do? Wanting to put her secretly in protection. He took a divine intervention to grind the enterprise. Now, let's show you. When Paul knew that they were going to, some people were pretending that they were lowering the side boats. That's what I mean by the skiff there. Lowering the side boat so that they can. Now, they were already in the big ship. Yeah. Why do you still need the smaller boat? And yet prayed. You see unbelief? Yeah. They were all embalmed with unbelief. Wow. They said they prayed. But while praying, they were taking precaution. They were lower the common heaven episodes who helped themselves. So they lowered 4 anchors. Then they say, let's take out the side boat, just for precaution, in case anything happens. But I thought you already prayed. And Paul was caught up in this madness, this so-called Christian madness. Okay. Paul said to the centurion and the soldiers, unless these men stay in the ship, you will not be saved. You will all perish. Then the soldiers cut away the ropes from the skiff and let it fall off. So there was no room for escape. So they were all in one ship. Now see something. And as day was about to dawn, Paul implored them all to take food. Notice that. We said it is too dangerous when a man of God is now too busy to attend to you that is not listening. It's too dangerous. Oh, Bro.Osi, I wanted to see you, but I saw a long queue. I saw a long line, so I couldn't wait. I said maybe I'll come back later. Okay, come back later. When the person, Bro.Osi, I can see you are really busy. Okay, don't worry. It's okay, Sha. It's nothing too serious. Nothing too serious. Then why do you want to see us twice? We know something is serious. Oh, no, it's just a minor thing. Okay, fine, let's talk about it later. Okay, fine. Until something bad finally happens. And all the time, 100% out of 100%, they always say, Bro.Osi, that was what I wanted to talk to you about. This thing that finally escalated. So, but why were you not patient to wait? Oh, Bro.Osi, because you were too busy. You were busy, and I didn't want to stand in your way. I know you have a lot of people you are doing. Stop it. You think we don't know? Is that not why God called us? But the whole thing now is scattered. Check your mind, because many of you are like that too. And if you need to say, have you not noticed, we always help you understand. Paul didn't have anything to lose. He was a prisoner, so he didn't have any luggage. The people who did not listen were the ones with the luggage. Why is it that the people who are blessed don't pay attention to the one who don't seem to have, or who may not look as blessed as they are? Why is it that you don't listen? Because you think you now have a good job. You think now you are. Why are you like this? Ask your neighbor, say, why are you like this?
Why are you like this?
No, don't say it in a nice way. We say it the way we said it.
Why are you like this?
Tell them, don't pretend to be sleeping here. Why are you like this? No, walk up to three people. Say, why are you like this? Why don't you listen? Ask the question. Why is it that you don't listen? No, don't go and ask your friend. Ask the people watching us. Why are you like this? Don't laugh about it. Let's take our seats. Take your seat. So that you don't start fighting. Why are you like this? Now, see verse 3. And as day was about to dawn, Paul employed them. He employed them all to take food, saying, today is the 14th day. You have waited and continued without food and eating nothing. Therefore, I urge you to take nourishment, for this is for your survival. Since not a hair will fall from the head of any of you. And when he had said these things, he took bread and gave thanks to God in the presence of them all. And when he had broken it, he began to eat. Right? That's not communion. They were eating. Then they were all encouraged and also took food for themselves. And in all, we were what? 276 people on the ship. So when they had eaten enough, they lightened the ship and threw out the wheat into the sea. You mean they were still on the sea? Oh, they were on the sea, yet could not recognize the land. When it was day, they did not recognize the land. But they observed a bay with a beach, onto which they planned to run the ship, if possible. So they said, we'll climb the sand They were seeing a beach. What is that thing that you are looking ahead for and couldn't see what is just right in front of you? Because you lifted up your head. You know, they say, keep your head up. You keep your head up. But is it possible if you can look down, you may not hit a brick that is just in front of you? Do you walk with your head up or you look down when you are walking? Why do you think you do so? Please answer now. Why do you think you do so? So that you don't trip. That will tell you that God knew why He made you walk looking down. Now we say, keep your head up. Someone say, no, it's a form of encouragement. Really. He encouraged them to eat bread. But He encouraged them for a disaster. That's the point. Because they had eaten enough, they threw out the wheat. They didn't need it anymore. We can see the beach, no problem. But they didn't know where the sheep was running into. Because each time they prayed, the night they prayed, the sheep was still sailing. When they cut up the side boats, the sheep was still moving closer to the bay. But they didn't know underneath. So which means when they released the four anchors did not feel that thing. They did not feel that thing. Maybe they had eaten too much and they did not hear the sound when the anchor struck the rock. Maybe because the Bible said they had eaten enough. So is it that Paul deceived them with food? No, Paul said they will need it for survival. Could it be that Paul already saw it ahead? We're about to enter a place, you will not see food, we better eat now. But Paul, they listen to you. Paul says, I know. Just that I didn't catch it. Do you know that you can be with a man of God and still drown in life?
Yes. Yes.
Because you are just too close to disaster and the man of God cannot see it. Because he is eating. He needs to rest. He has suffered with you. Why should I carry your load? Why should I carry your load?
Wow.
Anyway, see what happened. And they let go the anchors and left them in the sea, meanwhile losing the rudder rope. And they hoisted the mainsail to the wind and made for shore. You see, you can't rely on the wind and leave the rudder. No matter what you see ahead that you expect, still be in control. Yes. They allowed the ship to just drive and rely on the wind, which was what they did the first time.
Yes.
After all, we can see the beach. Why do we still need to control the rudder? The ship is moving straight. It's not going sideways. It's moving straight. Oh. And the anchors are underneath. They've been released. We are losing the ropes that we use to tie the ship to any shrub or tree that is by the beach. So here, they were already preparing the graduation ceremony. They are already preparing. They are already planning the wedding. Everything is fine. Hey, but they didn't see what was coming ahead. They were already planning. Lord have mercy. Do you realize that when people are planning for celebration, they don't seem to plan for danger?
Yes.
That's true. Yeah.
I've never seen any person who planned for danger. In fact, if somebody even brings it up as a suggestion, you say, what are you saying? Come on, what are you saying? God forbid to fiakwa. Why do? No, don't worry, nothing will go wrong. There are police there. We've already told the police. Do you realize that there are some things police cannot handle? There were soldiers in the ship, yet there was still a shipwreck. Why do you think that police can do everything? Why do you think that because you live in America you are safe?
Right.
So say Navy SEAL is the best. They are not. How many of them have been able to catch a wizard?
Wow.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
How many of them have been able to catch a wizard? So the Navy SEAL can come to the seashore of Calabar and come and see what Nigeria is doing. Which seashore? The seashore is Cameroon. Enter Calabar, let's see. Navy SEAL can swim to the seashore of Calabar in Nigeria. You don't understand? Witchcraft. Witchcraft is worse than terrorism. Is it Abdul Muttalib that you are talking about? Osama? Leave that one. Witchcraft. Witchcraft, you see, the thing is this. One thing about witchcraft is that it is not sophisticated. That is why you can't capture it with a sophisticated machine. It is not sophisticated. It is very ordinary. And the one who is building a sophistication or a sophisticated gadget is an ordinary person. You see why he, as he's building it, witchcraft is already destroying him. Even Jesus, witchcraft put him on the cross. Witchcraft. With his sin. What is Navy SEAL? What is Navy SEAL? King Saul, who chased away witches, he later had to go and patronize them to talk to God. For him to hear God, he had to go and see witches. Because prophets were not prophesying, but witches can still prophesy. Have you ever been in a situation where God stopped talking through the prophet? Now he will start talking through native doctors. What would you do? You go and patronize it. It's another way of God punishing you, not you now, that person. You know that? There's some people, they will see man of God who can see. The man of God is looking at them, is as blind as a bat. But they can see a native doctor who will tell them everything. And the native doctor is very accurate. And if such a person is in that kind of condition, just know he's a king, so it's over for him. Where the person has to be consulting the dead, it's over. It's over. Why? Because they are not listening. King Saul did not listen. He said, I waited for 7 days, you didn't come. So I forced myself. Did you listen? Someone said, when I come after 7 days, when I come after 7 days. So it can be after 7 days, but still wait till I come. Yeah. No, he said I waited for 7 days. But did you wait after? He already said there is an after. Yeah. After 7 days. He heard, but he did not listen. See, the missing details that you are not paying attention to is the reason why there is disaster. The storms come. And now it's sinking the ship of your family destiny. Because if it's not well with you, your husband, how can it be well with your wife and the children? Do you know that your family is a ship? These were 276 people. These were fathers of children, husbands of wives, grandfathers of people. None of them could see that they were about to scatter a ship that was to carry them. So they ended up getting to the beach wet. Meanwhile, they were supposed to be on the ship, not wet. They ended up getting to the beach wet. Then what's the point taking the ship? Why is it that what you said you will never do, at the end of the day, you have to do it to get what you want? It means that you got to a place where two seas met. That's just the truth. So say, well, I just have to give to Caesar to what belongs to Caesar. But it was something you said you will never do, but you still did it. So the question is, why are you deciding too early what you will not do? Yes. Why are you deciding too early? Why are you deciding too early? It's good to have a standard. It's good to set a standard for yourself, but could it be that you are doing it too early? Or maybe it's too late? It is too early because you already set a standard for yourself too early, and that's why you did not listen to the one who believes that standard will not work. It's like the woman says, I will never have sex with any man until I marry. Fine, good. It's beautiful, it sounds nice. Or could it be a too early decision? So it's not too early. Okay. Let's wait and see now. Then the sister is pregnant. And tell the devil, it was the devil's work. Oh, I feel bad. What I say I will never do. Nah, I'm a victim of it. Because you are a fool. Didn't you perceive? First of all, who is the guy that got you pregnant? There is one guy in our neighborhood. Good. Didn't you perceive your neighborhood before you start setting standards? Have you thought about where you live? The boy is there. Or the job you do. You've always wanted to live in the city. Yet you think that the city storms will not catch you. Meanwhile, the standards you said were suburb standards. Yet you don't want to live in the suburb. You want to live in the city. Because in the suburbs, nobody disturbs you, nobody will look at you. You can be there for 15 years, no man will even look at you. There are many trees. They don't even know whether you are there. There are many trees. But in the city, in a city where your wall, your living room wall is another man's bedroom. You became an immediate Elisha, hearing bedroom conversation. Because you were in a place where two seas meet. That's the point. Yes. No, this, and you have some people, they say they set standards on them. But see the way they even dress. This one will not survive the standard.
Lord have mercy.
At 13, there's cutters everywhere. You are carrying heavy hairstyle. Even the weave-on is very heavy. It's very heavy. To hold one thread of the dreadlock, the attachment, the thing is heavy. The thing is weight. Something you have to do like this. At 13. So say, no, I'm not going to mess around. At 13, you're already doing this. Can't you perceive? See, even the high school you are going to. Look at the high school you are going to. No, nothing will go wrong. I can never do drugs.
Lord have mercy.
We heard the report, the family, a mother was saying to someone, I gave my daughter the best education. I made sure they went to the best school. Then brought a clothes. I laughed when I heard it. He said, I can't believe my daughter did this. I gave her the best education. Sent her to the best school. I invested in them, although we live in Aventi. What does that suggest? What does that suggest? Do you understand? So you are giving the best in the wrong place. Then it's your fault your daughter became what she became. Then why are you angry? So you know that you are in a place where two seas meet. You are giving her the best education, the right seed. Yet living in the wrong environment, another seed. You are in a place where two seas meet. And what do you expect? The two seas will collide.
Yeah.
Oh, I give her the best education. Send her to the best school, although we live in Abington. And you know this environment. Then why did you move there? Why did you move there? So you already know. Then you wasted the money. Then you must be a foolish parent. And that's the truth. That's just what it means. That's a foolish parent. You know the neighborhood. You know the environment. Yet you say you are giving your child the best. What best can come out of the environment that you already perceive differently about? You have already perceived this environment. You know this place is not good for your child. It's not good for your daughter. It's not good for your son. Yet you say, I'm sending them to the best school. Brother, don't worry. I drive them 13 miles to go to school. She will end up dating someone behind the house. What's 13 miles? After all, your bedroom is a hallway away from our bedroom. And our window is next to Johnson. Don't worry. So when the guy, okay, now let's close with this. See, sometimes when we travel, sometimes towards the south,
Yes, sir.
we always tell our folks, I say, man, this is a place to raise a son. Always tell them. We always say, this is a place to raise a son. This is a place. Why do you think we say that? Because we can see that, man, this place is good.
Yes, sir.
But then someone said, but it's my work. It's because of where I work. Then don't have children. I can't help it. Why won't I have children? There are people, you know, one of the things we deceive ourselves about with, people deceive themselves with, is to say, you know, other people raise their children in Brooklyn and they are not crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that if I raise my daughter in Brooklyn or my son in Brooklyn, he will be crazy. Well, do you know the sensitivity of your son's destiny? And so just because Richard lived in Brooklyn and turned out right, does not mean your son, Pius, will turn out right in Brooklyn. Have you not noticed? If you have those kind of parents now, how do you deal with your child? I don't let them go out to. Why don't you let them go out? That means you already have an impression about the environment.
Yes. Very much.
You're already living in a place where 2 C's mean. So I say, no, thank God, he went to high school, A+, he's on A level. Wait till he enter college. Then he will take Brooklyn to college. You understand? What he did not have the opportunity to do because you locked the door all the time, gave him a curfew. Now he's in college. And hair is not growing on his chest. He now has a baritone voice. Oh. Then you know. You move to a place where 2 C's meet. Never forget that expression. A place where 2 C's. You know, there's a way somebody can bring up a conversation. Some of you can be talking, and there's a way the matter can be talked about, and you heard it, you say, man, that's the place where 2 C's meet.
Yes, sir.
Say it. In fact, it should be a parable for you in your conversation. Say, man, honestly, you are heading to a place where 2 C's meet. It could be a business. Someone say, let's do business. Say, man, look, this thing, it looks like a place where 2 C's meet. You don't like this, but you will manage it. It's okay for now. I did not know my son was doing drugs until the police came to the house. But what do you know about his friends? Richard is a good boy. Richard is a good boy. My son does not misbehave. It's just that school he went to. Then the next day I started seeing tattoos everywhere. Oh, but Richard is a good boy. Well, who put him in the school in the first place? Well, Bro.Osi, you know, I didn't have enough. His father is not there in his life, so I have to manage. You know now, I do. And we both see what Richard has become now. I provide for them. What is it that I don't give you? I pay the rent, and this is like Paul. Paul gave them bread to eat. So you are not different from Paul. Yeah. I go to church. I'm a deaconess. I'm a pastor, like Paul. He gave them bread to eat. They were like children. Yet he was on a ship that was about to shipwreck. And at this time, there was no room for perception.
Yeah. Too busy.
At least he has already shown them a pattern. And when this, let's show you something quickly. Hey. Go to verses 1 of this same chapter. Does it make sense to you, please?
Yes, sir.
Are you in verses 1?
Yes, sir.
Verses 1. And when it was decided that we should sail to Italy, they delivered Paul and some other prisoners to one named what? Julius, a centurion of what? Augustan regiment. So, entering a ship of what? Adramation, we put to sea, meaning to sail along the coast of where? Asia. Please, let's read now.
Yes, sir.
Along the coast of Asia, right? Aristarchus, a Macedonian of Thessalonica, was with us. And the next day, we landed at Sidon. And Julius treated Paul kindly and gave him liberty to go to his friends and receive care. Okay, now read. When we are put to sea from there, we sailed under the shelter of Cyprus because the winds were what? Contrary. So there was already a problem at the very beginning. Okay, read on now. And when we have sailed over the sea, which is off Cilicia and Pamphylia, we came to Myra, a city of what? Lycia. There, the centurion found what? An Alexandria ship sailing to Italy, and he put us on board. So the first ship they entered, there was issues. But they managed to get to where they were going, to board another ship. Paul was already noticing it. He did not say anything, but he was already observing something. Okay, verses 7 now. Let's read. When we had sailed slowly many days and arrived with difficulty of what? Cnidus, the wind not permitting us to proceed, we sailed under the shelter of Crete or Salome. You see that? It says even though we sailed slowly, it was with difficulty. Listen, you should know how your life has been going. If to graduate from high school, it was through prayer and fasting. Then prepare to pray and fast when you're entering college. To graduate. Then just know too, to get married, you also have to fast and pray. So the question is, if you know that this has always been the pattern, can you sit down and say, man, look, maybe the way I began these journeys was not right. How did I begin it in the first place? To begin to correct it. Because they started wrong already. Paul says the centurion was kind to him. Centurion Julius was kind to him. Just because people are kind to you does not mean that you are both not in a ship that is heading for a shipwreck.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Somebody can be kind to you till you crash land. An air hostess is still serving you water, attending to you before the plane still crashes. She died in her kindness. Because you were in a place where to sit. What decision are you about to take this week? This week that's about to begin. Where have you planned to go to this week? And you know, this past weekend, within you, there is a fight. The sheep within you is saying no. The Paul within you is saying, look, this place, I just have to go. It's a wedding. It's Suzanne's wedding. And you know, Suzanne and I were classmates. Must you really go for that wedding? Well, Bro.Osi, I sold the clothes too. And we, the graduating class of 2017, there's a special picture we're going to take with Suzanne on our wedding. So I have to go to take that picture. Graduating class photograph that will be a memorial after you are dead. A place where to see it. Paul began to observe. He said, look, this thing. He said, passing it, verses 8, with difficulty. He mentions it twice. Yes. Passing it with difficulty, we came to a place called what? Fair Heaven, near the city of Lycia. Now, when much time has been spent, and sailing was now what? Dangerous, because the fast was already over, Paul advised them, saying, men, I perceive that this voyage will end with disaster. He had already said it. It will show this thing, the way it's going, is likely going to end. He didn't say in between, he said it will end with disaster. Yet the same Paul who said he still gave them bread and finally ended with disaster. And much loss, not only of the cargo and ship, but also of our lives. So he had already said it. This ship will crash like with the way we are going. But this was the man in between. He later told them, be encouraged. Everything will be fine. Go to, let's close. See, it's amazing that this was not in the Old Testament. It's amazing that this account is in the New, which means that many lives are still being shipwrecked today. Yet there's a mighty man of God in their midst. Last week we went to meet a brother. We went to visit a brother in his office. Pastor Eunice was there. She drove us there. We went to see the brother, the precious brother. While in the office, in his office, we said to him, let's pray. We discussed other matters. Then we said, let's pray. As we were praying, the Lord made me hold this, what do you call this finger? This pinky finger. And I was holding on to the pinky finger. I left this other side. And I could not explain why I was leaving this other four. I was holding on to the pinky. So I was asking the Lord, why still praying for him? Then the Lord said, that pinky finger you are holding is a business he has just entered. And it will mess up the whole thing. So we said to the brother, the Lord says there is a business you want to do now that you just started. Is take your hands off it. As Pastor Eunice, he stood up from his chair. He said, Bro.Osi, I'm just even coming from the bank now. We have just done, I just pushed in some money into the business. I say it is a disaster. He said, Osi, money has gone into it. I said, brother, it's a shipwreck. He said, I believe you. He said to us, within me, there was a talk. I have to even force myself to go to the bank to make some car. He said, I know some money has entered. I said, sir, don't continue. Because that money, see it as a loss. He says, Osi, please forgive me. I should have come to talk to you. Meanwhile, that morning, the Lord told us to call him. And we called him and we said, welcome. Just what day was that? 4 days ago. 4 days ago. The Lord told us, we were standing there when the Lord said, call so person, tell me you are coming to his office. And we said, we are coming to your office. But we didn't know that morning was going for a business. Wow. And he already went before we got there. Made deposits. One more conversation. We already called him on the phone, telling him we were coming. Why was he in a hurry to still go to the bank? He should have waited for us to come. One more conversation. He heard, but he did not listen. He heard us say we are coming to his office. Sometimes, the last time our papa came for, while we were planning for the program in New York, that was last year, while we were planning for the program in New York, of course, funds were going for the organization of the program. Then a precious sister and her husband came to tell us, I think they wanted to buy a new car. Actually, they met us in a place. Your family was one, a friend of yours, was having a celebration. We all went there. And so this couple met us there. That they had already called us. Oh, brothers, we'll let you come and see you in the house. We said we are not in the house, we are so person's place. They are having a celebration. So we said we're stopping by. So they came. We didn't know she was coming with her husband. Then they said they want to go and buy a new car. I said, really? I said, there's nothing wrong with buying a new car. They gave us the reasons why they wanted a new car. And we told them, really? In all honesty, no, they noticed we were quiet for a while. So the wife said, please say something. I said, really? When you are planning for programs, particularly when a superior is coming, like our Papa Joshua Giva, this is not the time to buy anything. That money, that's the time. They had already given for the program, no doubt. I said, but that's not the time to buy. I said, why don't you wait until our Papa comes? After the program, you will know, you will hear a word from him to know whether to buy a car or not. She said, Bro.Osi, I never thought of it that way. I said, and this was just like few days before our Papa came. I said, why don't you just wait? Papa Joshua is coming. Just few days from now. As he's preaching, by the Spirit, he will even minister to you. Yeah. And tell you whether or not it is right to buy a car. If you can honor us to come and talk to us to seek spiritual counsel, whether it is right to buy a car, then why don't you wait till our Papa comes? So he said, it's true, we'll wait. As they were going, the Lord now spoke to me. He said, tell Pastor Eunice to give Pastor Eunice to give them her car. So we told Pastor Eunice. Pastor Eunice was there, said, Pastor Eunice, the Lord said you should give your own car to these people. Pastor Eunice. He was driving her own car. But the Lord said to tell her to give the family that. I said, take Pastor Eunice's car. The Lord said, both of you can have it. You don't need to buy any car. And Pastor Eunice was really, it was a barbecue. Pastor Eunice said, no problem. Gave them the keys and went back and were dancing to the song. Do you understand? The family went with the car. But the thing is that they came to seek counsel. So they even drove that car till they finally got a brand new car almost a year after. And he came with ease. Did you understand? When a leader, when a superior is holding a meeting, that's not when to go and start sending money home and all that. Do you know that it is when things like this are about to happen that his enemy is making setups too for you, as you have said, making setups for the program. The enemy is also planning for you. Do you know that? And finally, the money they would have used to get the car, they still gave it to the program. But that was not the intent why we told them not to. We said, wait until our Papa comes. Our Papa, the man of God himself, is coming to America. Why don't you wait till you hear the word of the Lord from his mouth, whether to buy a car or not? I said, but for me, I'm not saying anything. Wait until the man of God is coming. If you were not coming, then I will tell you something. But wait, why don't you wait till the man of God? Why? See, listen. It was all because they were heading to Italy. What if they had remained in Jerusalem? Everything would be fine. They would not lose anything. They wouldn't have prospered with a place where two seas met. Where are you heading to? Which journey are you embarking on? Who told you to take a trip? Where are you going to? Who told you to go on a vacation and you met that person that has become a wonder in your life? People don't listen. People don't listen. And we've told you over and over again, if you come to tell me you are traveling, so I will never disagree with you. Who told you that before? Whether the thing will turn out right, even if I'm seeing it, I will not tell you. Because you already decided. How can I tell you not to go? Come on now. You will not be fair if I tell you. I will not be fair if I tell you not to go. No, brother, you will not be fair for not telling us. Why should I tell you? Did you come to seek the counsel first? No, you already decided you wanted to travel. Why should I tell you not to go? Oh, come on, you have to go. Someone said, I went and came back safely. You did. You did, but God really wants you to go. That's the point. See? Because Paul now, it was even a circumstance. He never would have traveled. But because he was a prisoner, being referred to Rome, he was caught up with the circumstance. What we're trying to tell you is that there are people, circumstances can make them become deliberate victims. How about you that is an optional victim or a voluntary victim? Why would you want to be a voluntary victim? Paul was a deliberate victim. He was a circumstantial victim. It was against his will. It was not something God planned in his destiny. Thank God for the angel of the Lord. He would have died in that ship. They lost everything. And the reason why the Lord kept 276 people on board alive was because of Paul. The same Paul who gave them bread. Why should a man of God be too busy for you? Because you are not listening. And now it looks like you are in a place now where two seas meet. Quite frankly, I've been there before. I've been there, and it's not a good place. And I don't want to be there. But there are some people you can't tell. You can't tell them, don't go there. Because you looking at them, looking at their temperament, they will not listen. If you talk to somebody now, don't do this, they will start crying. You don't want them to cry, so you look at them, so you no problem. Whatever makes you happy. Come on. Don't you want to be happy? Yes. Bro.Osi, you said we should not forget prosperity. We should enjoy life. I just want to go to Mexico to enjoy myself. Is it? Mexico. I want to go to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico that had a hurricane. Yeah, I want to go and take some calendar pictures. You know, I've always been saying I will go to Puerto Rico. I want to go and see my friend Luna. Luna?
Yeah.
Luna? Oh. And the Bible says, Jesus said, when the blind leads the blind, they will all fall in the pit. Listen, for a very long time, before we finally answered the call into the ministry, I didn't want to do ministry because I was careful about how am I going to lead a people that I can't see for. I don't want that kind of thing. So I said to the Lord, I don't want to be an ordinary Christian. And I had already learned voodoo. Don't forget, even though I came into Christ, I have not forgotten what I have learned from voodoo. So I said, Lord, you want me to use voodoo to be leading me? You don't understand? We know of a church where the members were dying almost every 2 months. Yeah. The pastor could not see. Okay, let's close now. Okay, go to verses 41. But striking a place where 2 seas met, they ran the ship aground, and the prow stuck fast and remained unmovable. But the stem was being broken up by the violence of the waves. And the soldiers' plan was to kill who? The prisoners, lest any of them should swim away and escape. But the centurion, wanting to save Paul, kept them from their purpose, and commanded that those who could swim should jump overboard first and get to land, and the rest, some on board and some on parts of the ship. And so it was that they all escaped safely to land. Now the point is, they escaped safely to land, no doubt, but they got there wet, which was not the intent. Because if they were to end at that, if they were to get to where they were going wet, there would have been no need to take a ship. They would have just started swimming. Now, notice something here. Do you mean that a place where a ship got destroyed, people were still jumping into the waters to swim? If a ship can be destroyed at a particular spot, the centurion was still telling people jump. But the reason why they were safe was because Paul had already given them the word. None of that. And in order to save Paul. So some of them had to hang on pieces. And there was no record that Paul swam. That means Paul hung on the residue of the broken ship. And by the time they got to the island of Melita, the Bible says a viper wrapped his hand. Why? It is the same man who used to eat bread. And since you didn't see, viper will attack your hand. He shook it into the fire. Because why should a man of God be a victim to you not listening to him? Because many men of God today, other people call them fake because you did not listen. See, I think you say you go to that church, you're under a prophet. How come he could not sing for you? Maybe all those testimonies they share is fake. Why? Why won't they call that man of God that? Because you didn't listen. You know he told you not to do it, but you couldn't tell your friend that he told you not to do it. So why do you still go to that church? You know why you still have to go to that church. You know the man of God says, but just that you don't like to listen. Not that you won't stop coming. No, they all did not part ways. They still entered the same ship and go to the album. Compulsory membership. There are some congregations like that with a pastor. The members of the congregation, they are so disadvantaged, but they are compulsory members. The pastor cannot overhaul them. He cannot chase them away. If he even tells them don't come to church, that's when they will even sleep in church. Yes. These were compulsory members. They were stuck on board. Yet there was a shipwreck. You know there's some people, there's some, come rain, come shine, pastor, I'm with you. Fine, yes. You are with the pastor, no doubt. But what are you doing for the pastor? What value are you adding to his life? Man of God, I will be with you even if the roof of the church drops. It's true. These ones were with Paul. Till the ship scattered. What's the point being with someone when everything is falling apart? Because I'll be with you, honey, till death do us part, no matter what happens. Well, you are still in his life and everything is dying. The first child died, second child died, third child died. Honey, I will still be with you till the end. Look at the person. But I can't do anything now. I know why you can't do anything. Because both of you drove your family ship into a place where two seas meet. And as long as there's a divide, because that place, when he talks about the place where two seas meet, it meant that there was a barricade that would guard the waves from this other side. The torrents on one side was higher than the other. And in order for it not to influence the other, even though the torrents were hitting that barricade, they could hear the blast. They could hear it. And that was where they allowed the ship to drive into. They allowed the wind to carry the ship to go and hit a place where Yet they were expecting they would get to the beach, to the harbor safely. Yet allowed the wind to drive it. Let the Lord take his course. I just know I will graduate with Lord. The Lord knows where he's taking you to. When are you going to start taking control? Take control of affairs. Praise God. So what are we supposed to do? Do what Paul said. Listen, we've been giving you the answer. Like we said, give room for one more conversation. Even if someone says, I've made up my mind, this is what I'm going to do. See, ask the person, are you sure? Are you sure you will not give an opportunity for one more conversation? One more conversation. Didn't you notice Jesus asked Peter 3 times if he loved him? What's the point? He should have asked once. He still asked him again. He was still giving room for one more conversation. Peter reacted. He still said, Peter, follow me. Jesus wanted to be fully sure that the guy had made up his mind. One more conversation can make a whole lot of difference. Even with your child that you are not listening to. One more conversation. A family came to see us here and were very, very sad that their daughter is a homosexual. She just married, and the mother was saying, Bro.Osi, you don't understand. We are preachers. My husband is a spiritual father to many other men. I said, both of you don't listen. The son was sitting there. I said, both of you don't listen. That's why your daughter ended up homosexual. She said, how? I said, you don't listen to her. She has been trying to get your attention. You don't pay attention. Then the brother laughed. The son laughed. I said, why are you laughing? He said, because she's the most outspoken. I said, that's why she's speaking now. She's the most outspoken because she's the weakest. Because in that relationship, she's the wife. The other lady has a strong will. I said, where are her pictures? When they brought the picture, I said, how old is he? He said, 24. I said, look at this one. What kind of man do you think she has? He said, but she talks loud. So the parents thought that because she talks loud, she's in control. She's the weakest. I said, both of you are fools. You are saying you are raising other men of God. You abandoned your own children. You have not finished pastoring your own children. You are going to read. I said, tell your husband to come. When he came to sit in front of us after service. I looked at him. She said, this is my husband. I said, this is your husband. I said, and I was looking. I said, this is what they call a spiritual father to pastors. I will never submit to that kind of person. God forbid. God forbid. Why? They were too busy working. The daughters with master's degree married a homosexual. Bro.Osi, what do you think we'll do? I said, man, let's tell you. First, you have a fault. And Bro.Osi, and then her son said, Bro.Osi, please, tell my mom, please tell us, both of us, if my mom is correct with what she did. I said, what did she do? Oh, the woman interrupted. Oh, my son says I was wrong for not attending my daughter's wedding. I said, you were wrong. Because you further justify what she has been trying to say, that you don't care about her. Maybe if you had attended that wedding and she saw you, she probably wouldn't have taken the vow. You never created room for one more conversation. That's the problem. You are hearing, but you are not listening. Now you are in a place where two seas meet. That's the trouble with many families today. Many families. I know my child. You don't know Jack. You don't know Jack. Is it because you see their report cards? You think you know them? Stand to your feet. Let's do it. Lord, have mercy upon me. Please, I'm not angry with you. Alright, I'm not angry with you. Because, brother, with the way you spoke, it looks like you are fighting. I'm not fighting you, Lord, have mercy upon me. Alright, if you're angry with me, don't be angry with me. We love you. All we said it in Christian law because the Lord told us to say it to you. If you ask me how the lesson was going to go, I didn't know how the message was going to go at all. But we hope you got something. So, where are you right now? Could it be that you are in a place right now where two seas are meeting and they are colliding? This family will not accept the man you want to marry. You still insist you want to marry the man. Could it be that this marriage is certainly a marriage of where two seas meet? And you lady, you should have sense. This woman will never accept you as a daughter-in-law. You say, well, I'm doing it for Christ. The Lord gave me a vision that is my husband. Are you a fool? Can't you perceive? The first time you walked into the house, see the way his siblings looked at you. Then you know, brother, you're a good man, but I can't marry you. Your family, they will be trouble. You should be able to perceive. Don't worry. I know my sister who work it out, who do it for love. You're shut up. Okay, fine. If you survive this storm now, how about the place where two seas meet? In the marriage. How about the place where two seas meet? You are allergic to pigs, but the mother likes pigs. And she wants you to cook it for her and taste it. And she even said, come and eat it with me. You say, no, Mama, I don't eat pig. You say, then you come. Do you realize that those things can happen? Some say, thank God I don't have a mother-in-law. Thank God she died then. No problem. But other things can occur. Okay, if you are still not comfortable having a joint account with even your husband, that will tell you that there's a problem. Joint account doesn't mean, no, brother, this is my husband. He will finish all the money. Anyone say, this is my wife. All the money, she will use it to build houses for her mother and her siblings. I'm not doing joint account. Then already, even before the wedding, then that means there's already a problem in a place where both of you will surely head to a place where two seas meet. Listen, don't fool yourself because you prayed. Paul prays. They prayed, but the next day they still ended up in the place they prayed against. So I pray this thing will work out. Already you can see the cry. You just know this thing is not going to work out. You can, someone say, I just hope this thing will work out. But you know this thing will not work out. Why are you that heady? We're talking about your destiny here. Yet you are heady. And you are not listening. You are not listening. You are not listening. And that's the trouble many of you standing here. That's the challenge you have. And I've been there too. We all have not listened. Let's start listening. Just say, brother, I'm glad now, I'm comforted because you acknowledge you're also guilty. Well, yes. But maybe the reason why we didn't listen was because you have not been listening. So we decided not to. I mean, honestly, there are some people who come to talk to us, and that's when we're even busy. Because sometimes I say, come again, what did you say? That should make you say, Bro.Osi, please. Can I have your attention? That will tell you something. That we are deliberately not listening to you. We're even telling you to come again. That will tell you that something is wrong with you. How come when you came to see us, you were not a priority to us? You were not the first priority. Yet you came to see us. We saw you sitting, but we were paying attention to the phone more than you. Because the phone listens. We press the button. You don't listen. Your temperament is controlling you. And we know if we tell you something, you say, okay, because you are in the presence of God. When you go, you say, see what he was telling me. Can you imagine Bro.Osi is telling me brown rice now is healthier than white rice because he knows I like to eat white rice. But you were the one who came, which rice is correct? Which rice should I eat? Okay, eat both. Eat white, eat brown. Then check what both. You are not listening. You are not listening. And that's why you can easily deny people. Peter easily denied Jesus because he was not listening. He was warning Jesus instead. He did not allow Jesus to finish what he was saying. Didn't you hear what that voice said? He said, "This is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased." Hear him. Yes. That means listen to him. Okay, finally, why do you always think you must dominate the conversation? Why do you always think you must? You know, the Lord taught me a lot. He's still teaching me a lot. You know, sometimes even when we're talking with some of us, we're talking and I cut them short. And I said, "No, go ahead." You don't know why we said go ahead. When he said, "No, I said, "No, go ahead." I'll still remember what I want to say. The reason is because the Lord told me, "Shut up, allow them talk." Because I did have that challenge. The Lord is still helping me out. Sometimes I can dominate the conversation. But I just wonder whether I'm saying the right thing. You understand? So sometimes I say, no, you go ahead. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Why? Because the Lord is teaching me. Would you let them talk for us? So, as in just a conversation. So sometimes because it's Anita, you say, let's gist. Or because some of you say, let's talk. Why? It's the training for me too, so that I can learn to. But just make sure you must say something nice. Otherwise, I will. You understand? Oh, Pastor Pepper is somebody who would like to have a conversation with. Man, when she's talking, when she's making analysis, Pastor Christian, I say, wow, this is brilliant. You understand? So, even though you are a good conversationist or you are a good talker, begin to train yourself towards listening. Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
Say, I can.
I can.
Father, enable me to always pay attention to the things that matter most, so that I don't experience shipwreck in my life. In the mighty name of Jesus, Lord, help me, pray. Help me to always pay attention to the things that matter most, so that I do not experience shipwreck. So that I do not experience shipwreck. Lord, help me. Pray. You are not praying. Pray. 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 Lord, I don't want to experience shipwreck, Lord. Please help me. Help me to always pay attention to the things that matter. Help me to always listen. Lord, may I never cross paths in a place where two seas meet. Be it in business, be it in my ministry, be it in my marriage. Oh Lord, help me, 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 Lord. In Jesus' name. You know, as we're praying now, the Lord just spoke to me. Why? I've been given one invitation to come and minister in a place. But I know something about that ministry that is not too comfortable. And I said, well, maybe, and another man of God is coming to that place. As we were praying now, the Lord just spoke to me now. Now you've answered yourself. Do you think you should go there? I'm not going, because that place looks like a place where two seas will meet. Father, may I never go to any place where two seas meet, so that my destiny is not shipwrecked. Father, please help me. Pray. May I never take a job where two seas meet. Pray. Why are you stopping? May my children never go to school in a place where two seas meet, so that their destinies are not truncated, so that they don't incur losses in their life. Oh Lord. La Prakusa Taya. Ikoro Rosita. Melekishma. Rambus Melekataya. Lord, help me. Please help me, Lord. Help me, help me, help me. May I always pay attention to my leader, to my father. May I always give attention to their instructions. become life to me. May their instructions be life to me. May the instructions of my superior bring me safety forevermore. Whether they know what they are saying or not, whatever they instruct me to do, may it bring me safety, perpetual safety, forevermore, oh God. May it bring me eternal safety. May it bring me perpetual safety. May it bring me perpetual deliverance. May it bring I and my household safety forevermore. How we cover their answers, even as I obey their instructions. Lord, help us. Help me. Help me. Help me.